Well, you want to be able to talk about hard conversations,
Right.
right? Like in the grand scheme of things, him taking this road trip is not that deep. But
No.
down the road, you want him to be able to come to you with something that may be more serious and more heavy. And even if it's a difficult conversation, you want to be able to feel like it's a safe space for you all to do that.
I thought it was
right?
kind of funny because Mom said to me, because I said, Grayson, you don't need to sneak around. Like, just tell me what you want to do, you know? And Mom's like, well, that's you, Kathy. You do that.
Welcome to Three Little Fishes. We're three sisters who grew up in the Midwest together, but have since spread across the country. I live in Los Angeles.
I'm in Nashville.
And I live in Philadelphia. We are all married with children, have all had careers, but now we stay at home with our families.
Join us as we share secrets and stories about being women, wives, and mothers.
We welcome you to laugh along, learn something new, reach out, and join our conversation.
So let's jump in.
What's up, fishes?
What's up, fishes?
What's up? Good to see you.
So my voice is slowly starting to come back. I don't know when I will get it back officially. I know everybody in my house is ready for it to come back. So hopefully you guys can hear me pretty well. But I wanted to mention that this is episode 57, like Heinz 57. It's our 57th episode.
The Ketchup Girls. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a big number. Yeah.
Pretty awesome, right? I like it. The Ketchup Girls.
Yeah.
All right. The other thing I wanted to circle back with really quickly is it's a new month, and I completed my Amazon challenge.
I mean,
and
that's amazing.
did not use Amazon once for the whole month.
I'm proud of you,
of
Nancy.
April.
That's amazing. I actually did an Amazon order this morning.
Were you tempted? Were you tempted at all?
So I did look a couple times, but then I was like, what am I doing? I can figure it out. And I did, because I am in the stores all the time.
Yeah.
So it worked out. So I'm going to try to see if I can kind of keep going. And it kind of just keeps in check too of what I'm doing and not being so impulsive.
Mm-hmm.
So did you go to Target? Like, what was the backup?
So I did have to go to Target some, but just and Costco, but just using my brick and mortar stores here.
Yeah.
So I like that idea
Shopping
better
local.
of supporting locally, and supporting my community. So so far I did it. I did it for a month. And I feel really good about it, and I'm going to keep going. Not to say I'm never going to use Amazon again, but I'm going to kind of keep it going and see,
So
do I really
your
need it?
Amazon account, does your cart is not full of things that you wish you had?
Correct. I do have still like a wish list that I've had for like a month that I haven't cleared out. And I haven't looked at it to even see like what's in there. So I should go look and see what's in there.
Yeah.
You make a wish list? I don't do that. I just
No?
buy it.
Sometimes.
I
think
do.
Sometimes. Yeah.
Like,
Well, good job.
Sometimes.
I'm proud of you. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Good
So,
job.
if anybody wants to take the challenge, I would love to hear about it. And if you're able to do it.
Good.
You both are like, I'm out.
yeah,
I'm
I
not
already
doing
told
that.
you I was out.
I'm not doing
Okay.
that, but that's good
All
for
right.
you.
And the other thing
Looks good on you.
The other thing I wanted to circle around about was my hobby. Do you guys remember us talking about our hobbies?
Yes.
And I said that I wanted to get back into tennis.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't signed up for a league or tennis lessons, but I have gotten my racket out and I've hit a couple times. And my daughter, Johanna, has started tennis lessons. So she and I have gone to the court a couple times and we've been hitting the ball and practicing.
Oh,
So
fun.
I feel
I love
like I
that.
am making baby steps towards my hobby and maybe getting back to playing a little bit more. My next step is to actually find
A league. Yeah.
where I can, rally with somebody more up to my speed.
Yeah,
but at least I've gotten the racket out and I've like shaken off the rust.
Yeah,
I
that's
like it.
awesome, Nancy.
That's awesome.
What
Good
about
for
you
you.
guys? Are you sticking to your hobbies?
You know what? Honestly, right now, it's not hobby time for me. I'm so overwhelmed with all the things for graduation, the end of hockey season. We just had prom. So I need a couple more weeks to just sort of like clear the to-do list so I can do something else, to be totally
Yeah,
honest about it. Like I actually did think about my sourdough and I thought about because I want to record when I make it, my starter again, because I killed it. But I just I haven't done it yet. So I will do it. So hang tight. I will show everybody how to do it. It is very easy, but right now is no, I'm not doing any
it
hobbies
does
right now.
it does seem like senior year in high school gets very, very busy
It does.
with all things like kind of ending.
Mhm.
Do seem like you're very busy.
Yeah.
Well, it's not only that, but I also have two in college still, and they're winding up their year. So we have a lot of emotions happening. We have a lot of organization and planning to get home and putting things in storage units and moving into different apartment. It's just a lot of moving parts that require just a little bit of mental gymnastics. So, it's all good stuff. It is just like a little busy. So
Yeah.
I don't have lots of extra time to, you know, start something new, or I don't want to
So
start something
Kathy,
new.
so Kathy, I feel like with one of your hobbies is golf, and I feel like you probably are playing a lot of golf right now.
Yes,
I'm
golf has
guessing.
officially started last week. I mean, I played this winter, so I didn't give it up completely, but it's not quite the same thing because simulator golf is not like hitting outside, but it gets you swinging. But yeah, it started last week, so I'm happy, and the weather's improving here, so that's good. Um, my second hobby that my pillow making that I'm trying to do, I was going to get together with my friend like a few weeks ago, but it fell through. So I'm hoping maybe in the next couple weeks we're going to get together and she's going to help me actually start cutting out material to try
Oh,
and make this pillow. I'm going to
okay.
get
So you
it
haven't
done.
actually,
I'm going to get
you
it
actually
done.
haven't, so you actually haven't made any forward progress.
No, I haven't.
So
No,
no forward progress.
none.
Okay.
And
All
I'm
right.
being honest.
Oh
No
yeah.
shame, no shame. I'm with
No
you.
shame. But the sewing machine is still out in daylight. It isn't back in the basement.
I didn't put it in the basement. It's still in my
Okay.
room. I look at it
All
every
right.
morning and I'm like, I'll get to you at some point. I just haven't had time to do it. And then
Yeah.
I do need a little hand holding. So I think that's why I have not like tried to just go in there myself.
So
All right.
Kathy, we just had prom last weekend. You have prom coming up though, right? Because you guys
We,
start school later and finish later than we do.
yeah, so prom is coming up the end of May and he has a girlfriend. And I was like, you haven't been talking to me about prom very much. Like, what's going on? And then I kind of caught him playing his guitar the other night. And I was like, are you like getting ready to do a proposal? And he's like, well, I was just kind of trying to think if I should use the guitar or not. But, it's a lot of work, Mom. And I'm not sure I can like get it together.
Yeah.
And then I asked him last night what he was doing. And he finally told us. So I hope his girlfriend's not listening, but he's going to have, I think, four of his friends be a letter. One of them is going to be a P, then the R, an OM, and then
Oh,
Yeah.
cute.
Trevor's going to be the question mark at the end.
Yes, that's so cute.
And they're going to sing Nothing on You by Bruno Mars. Isn't
Aw.
Oh,
that
that's
cute?
sweet. He must really like her that he's going to sing to her.
Yeah. But I think they're going to try and use like our little karaoke machine to do
Sure.
it too. And
Yeah. So we did it last year, but this year he didn't. We're also kind of experiencing that, like where the kids are sort of separating. They're seniors, they're going to different colleges, and people are sort of
oh,
like splintering off right now because we are really at the end of our year. Like we've got, I think, 2 weeks left
So
and we're
they're not
done.
like doing as much stuff together, or
No, they're spending time together, but they're also, like, emotionally sort of separating the boys and girls a little bit, I feel like. So,
well,
um, I mean, prom was fun. I think everybody had a good time. There was a couple of big parties. I, of course, had people at our house overnight, but
You're like the party house.
I know you're always having people over.
I am. I mean, I had boys here yesterday. They came like they had kind of like a half day yesterday for whatever reason. And it's spring week here, they call it. So they have like food coming in every single day and they have like activities. And
I mean,
I
I don't
mean,
remember this when we were seniors in high
you
school.
No,
We
don't
didn't have
either.
no.
this much fun, did we?
I mean,
No, at all.
I
And I
mean,
think that mom and dad, I'd be like, I'm so done with school. And they're like, so what? You have to still go. Like,
right.
I don't know what you're
Yes.
talking about. Like, there was no like mercy for them. They were like, don't screw up so you don't get into school. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. I said that to Jack. I was like, you're barely in school right now. He's like, Mom, don't worry about it. It's all going to be fine.
I feel like that's going to be tattooed on Jack somewhere.
Don't worry
It's
about it.
fine.
It's all going to be
yeah.
fine.
All right, you all. Well, today, speaking of kids, we're gonna our topic today is adults being adults. Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh
Oh
my.
my. We started thinking about you girls had a couple of things come up with your older kids that are adults and away
Mhm,
at school,
Yes.
and about they are adults and they get to make their own choices and decisions,
mhm.
but they may not be running these decisions by you because they're 18 and over, and you're wondering, maybe I don't know if I would make those choices. So what's that like when your kids are making choices that you may not agree with, but really they're adults, so you don't really get to say a lot. So Linda, you particularly started this conversation off. What's going on in your family that has brought up this conversation?
I have all adults in our house, right? So I remember distinctly when all the kids turned 18, they all came to us and they were like, we can't wait. We're going to do all the things we couldn't do before we were 18. So they like bought lottery tickets and, they voted when they could and they all talked about getting tattoos. And we were like, okay, well, I mean, just really think about, I'm not really a tattoo person, but I was like, yeah, I mean, I get it. It's such a thing now, but like be thoughtful about it. Right. So then our nobody did it. And then our oldest came home with a tattoo and
Just
she didn't
recently.
recently.
Yes.
So she's 21 now. She's almost 22. And I was like, "Oh, wow." Um, I was trying to not, like, be shocked, but I was a little shocked, and I was
Right.
like, "Okay, well, the artist did a good job. It's very well done." And I was like, "So do you like it?" And she's like, "I love it. I love it. I've been thinking about it, and I love it." And so but I think the point of me bringing this up was like, I said to her, I'm like, I don't love tattoos, even though I know everyone has them. I have friends my age that have them. Like, I'm not judging about tattoos, but I did say to her, I was like, the thing that kind of bugs me a little bit is you didn't tell me. Like,
Right.
and it's not like I wanted to be part of the decision making necessarily, but like and I do think this is a line that I straddle with these kids is like, I don't want you to feel like you can't talk to me about things and tell me that this is important to you and this is a decision you made.
Right.
Because even though I don't love the tattoo, I love you unconditionally. And so
Yeah.
I have been asking my friends who have older kids, like, because young adults make decisions that necessarily you don't agree with. Like, I've had friends whose kids gave up sports that they were great at, or decided not to go to college, even though that was sort of the trajectory they were going on,
Right.
or they accepted a job that you're like, really? Or they're dating somebody, you're like, really?
Yeah.
And
Right.
every single person said to me, "You gotta let them do it. You gotta
Yeah.
let them, like, make their own decisions, and then they have to live with them." and they
Yeah.
don't necessarily have to live with them forever,
Yeah.
but you have to let them choose their own path.
You know, when you think about tattoos, what I think about, which dates me, but Friends, and the episode with Phoebe and Rachel when they go and get tattoos
Oh,
because it
yeah,
was
and they got
making
the
them.
one dot.
And
Right.
Phoebe got the one like blue freckle, and she's like, "Look, it's the world from far away." Because, and I feel like that would be me, because like a part of me is like, "Oh, I wouldn't mind like a little daisy. That's my favorite flower, like somewhere where no one could see it." And I'm like, I wouldn't want it out for the world, but I always thought it'd be kind of cool to have a daisy. But
Mhm.
then I'm like, Phoebe, oh, do you know they use needles? I'm out. No
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah, I couldn't handle it.
I think for me, I can't imagine there's anything that I love enough that I want on my body forever. And interestingly, I have a really good friend who has a tattoo of all of her kids' names,
Yeah.
and but she's actually having it removed
Oh,
because
she's disowning
as
them.
no, because like over the
You cross the
years,
line.
it kind of fades and it bleeds, you know what I mean? And you have to kind of keep it up, otherwise it doesn't look that great. And she's like, I just don't want to deal with the maintenance. So I'm having it removed, which is brutal, by the way, because
Yeah.
they have to laser it and you have to go
Yeah.
in over and over and over again to get it removed.
Yeah.
I had a friend tell
Well,
me that it's really painful because she's getting a divorce after like 20 years. It's really sad. And
Oh,
they, back in the day, they didn't have a lot of money, and they each got a tattoo for their ring, to represent their
oh
ring.
oh,
yeah,
And so now she's having it lasered off, and she says it's excruciating, which just makes it all that more painful.
yeah,
Like,
why can't they
yeah,
numb
yeah.
it up? I don't understand that.
I don't know. I don't know.
yeah,
But yeah, I think people either love them and they are all in, or it's like
yeah,
it's not for them.
yeah,
I'm just like, for me, my pain tolerance, I can't handle it.
yeah,
And so that's a no for me from that point. I don't want to deal with the needles.
I think
yeah.
But
me
my,
too. I could not handle the needles. I think of like the cleanliness of it. And then I think about maybe I would like it for a couple of days, but then I probably want it gone, you know?
Yeah,
Like I'm more
yeah.
probably of like the peel kind where you
yeah, the temporary.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Well,
hard to decide what you would think you would want, but anyway, she didn't have a hard time with it. She loves
yeah,
it. She actually did go to a really beautiful artist. Again, it's like I'm not really a tattoo girl, but I am a Sarah girl. I love her,
yeah,
and it's her thing, and she loves it. And I felt
Right.
kind of sick to my stomach that she felt like she thought I would judge her and not, I would think less of her.
yeah,
And that kind of crushed my heart. So we had a big talk about that and how, like, no matter what choices you make in your life, I love you unconditionally. So
yeah,
I support you. You
Yeah.
don't have to go on the same path that I'm on. And I think
yeah.
that as a parent is so hard. I mean, you do have to kind of get used to being like, okay,
Well,
mhm, I hear
it's just also
you.
like
Mhm.
it's her body and her choice and what
Yeah.
feels good for her and her body. Like she gets to own that, just like I want to be able to own that for myself. So I actually reached out to her and I told her, you know, I said, your mom told us that you got this. Let's see it. And she was like, I felt weird about even telling you and Aunt Kathy. And I'm like, girl, you don't have to be afraid to tell me anything.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
think it's a good lesson about, I hope if she's listening to this, that, yeah, we're always team Sarah. I'm team all these kids.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And, so I don't want them to be afraid to tell any of us anything. Like,
Right. Right.
we're all here and we're all just trying to
Yeah.
get through the days the best we can and be the happiest and healthy we can be. So, Kathy, let's not forget about you over there. What did your oldest do to
Well,
you that kind of made you be like, what?
well, it's kind of down the same line that Linda's talking about is that my oldest went on a road trip for Easter. We thought he was staying at school and he had a party to go to. And then we knew a few of his friends were getting out of town for the holiday. And I think he ended up just thinking like, I want to go somewhere because I'm not used to being by myself during a holiday. So he forego his friend's party, and he ended up driving to, our parents, which I love that he wanted to spend time with them. But he didn't tell us one thing about it. And he totally surprised by mom and dad showed up, in the middle of the night at their house. But he also didn't tell Peter and I. And I was getting worried about him because I didn't hear from him. And then he had turned his like iPhone by my iPhone off. Not that I track him all the time, but I do kind of every now and then wonder where he is.
But you do track him sometimes.
I do a little bit. But it's more of a, okay, he's not dead kind of thing.
Right.
Like he's alive.
Well,
But-
his phone's not dead. I mean, not to be dark, but like,
Right.
Right.
But like I knew something was up because I was like, well, he doesn't ever shut that off. And I was thinking, did you go away like with your friends somewhere? But then as I thought about it, I was like, I wonder if he went to Peoria because I remember him saying like a month ago something about going. And so he just decided he wanted to go. And, that's his choice because he is an adult now. But I think the thing I was disappointed was like, why couldn't you just tell us and be honest, like you're saying? Like,
Right.
let's have a conversation about why, what
Right.
you're thinking, why. And okay, maybe we're not like totally jazzed about it, but at least let's talk about it,
Right.
well, because also it's a drive. I mean, to get to mom and dad from
Right.
school,
It's like
what,
a 12 hours by himself.
Yeah.
It's, it'd be,
Yeah.
they didn't know that he was doing that either. Like it is a safety thing too. And, so we were a little disappointed, but we talked it through. And I hope he knows that he can come to us, because there's going to be other things in life that you need to probably talk through things with. I mean, there are major
Right.
things that happen to you throughout your lifetime.
Right.
So,
Well, you want to be able to talk about hard conversations,
Right.
right? Like in
Yeah.
reality, in the grand scheme of things, him taking this road trip for a long weekend to see our parents is not that deep. It's not that serious. But
no,
down the road, you want him to be able to come to you with something that may be more serious and more heavy. And even if it's a difficult conversation, you want to be able to feel like it's a safe space for you all to do that.
I thought it was
right?
kind of funny because mom said to me, because I said, Grayson, you don't need to sneak around. Like, just tell me what you want to do, And mom's like, well, that's you, Kathy. You do that. I was like, no,
So
I
what-
don't. I'm like, what did I do that I stuck around?
Oh,
What did
that's
you
funny.
do? Did she tell you? Did she give you examples?
She did not.
I don't think she's remembering right. That's what I'm
Maybe
hearing.
that was you guys, not me.
Well, you do, and don't get mad, but you do sometimes not always want to tell stuff. Like, so you kind of,
Yeah, private.
you don't lie,
Yeah.
you don't lie, but you don't share it all. Like what word am I looking for? I don't know.
She's
Like
private.
I mean private, yeah. And then you'll be like, "Oh, I didn't realize you were doing that." Oh, you're like, "Oh yeah, didn't I tell you that?" No, you didn't. No, you didn't tell me that. So maybe that's what she means.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I think, any parents out there, it's like, this is that. I actually I was talking to a friend of mine who's a therapist, and we were kind of talking through young adults and their decision making. And sometimes they do things that you don't necessarily approve of. It's not the end of the world. And she's like, there is a grieving process that parents go through as your kids get into these young adult times because they don't need you as much. And they need to make their own mistakes, and they need to fall down, and they need to pick themselves up. And you can be a safety net, but it's like you become less and less of that. And there is this like sort of sorrow that parents kind of have to get through during this time too. So I think that's sort of what I felt with Sarah. Is just like, I was just sort of like, I was sad that she felt like she couldn't talk to me about it. And then I was sad too, like we didn't talk about it. Like I feel like we have
You were left
a
out.
good rapport, and I felt kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, like she she was a little worried about telling me, but, like, also she's my kid that really chats out a lot, and that she didn't chat that out kind of made me feel sad. She didn't need me to help her make this decision. She made it, and she was so happy about it, so
Yeah.
I do know that Riley in particular is like, I don't like it when you get upset with me and if I make a mistake. And we just said recently, you're going to make mistakes and that's okay.
yeah,
We have to be able to talk about it. I don't want to just hear about the glows. We have to talk about the grows too.
yeah.
So it's this slippery slope, even in this like the teenage years of trying
That's
to set
hard.
up this foundation of being able to move forward. I mean,
Yeah,
it's tricky.
it is, it's
It is
hard.
tricky.
Well, it's all part of this, like, leaping process, and Kathy and I are gonna do this again. We have seniors, we've talked about this endlessly, because it's such a big thing in our
Yeah.
lives to go
Yeah.
from high school to college or whatever your child is going
Yeah.
through. So we do I mean, I'm doing it for the 3rd time
I'm doing
in
it for the second.
in August, and, so we'll attach our list for dorms. I would say now is a good time if you are one of these parents that has a senior in high school, start thinking about putting together your Amazon wish list, asking other parents who have been through it. Look through the Three Little Fishes dorm list. We'll post it in the show notes. Ask us questions if you have any. But I would say those IKEA blue bags, also Amazon has that. And get the ones that zipper, that are the easiest to stack. Get They're like $1 a piece. They're the greatest. They're
Yeah, they
hardy.
are
They
nice.
help you with the move. So that a nice, like, topper for the mattress, no matter what. Like, our son's going to go to the University of Kentucky, and they did all new dorms, and they all have Posturepedic mattresses, but I'm still putting, like, the topper on
Fancy.
it. I know. Um, because you spend a lot of time in bed, so you wanna be comfortable. And then, obviously, there are electronics and things like that that really are essential. So, we'll put that list in, for everybody, because it is something I am starting to think about already,
Yeah.
is
I
what do
think,
we need to get, and what don't we need to get?
well, summer, you think summer comes and you have all the time in the world, but it goes by fast. And
It
like,
does.
if you're going to go on a trip, that's, time away. So you won't have as much time. But I think trying to get some of these items ahead is a really good
Yeah,
idea. And like
I
I
agree.
was thinking of a couple of my favorite things that we got that are key. I think a bed rail shelf for your
Oh, yeah,
kids'
those are
dorms
nice.
bed. Because I remember Grayson's, he actually bunked his bed. And so there was not even a dresser or anything. So we got that shelf so he could put his water, phone, stuff like that
Mhm.
on it. Um, and another cool thing that we bought was a tower fan because they're not these huge fans. They're like skinny. They're
Mhm.
Yeah.
like, they're not very wide and they have a remote, especially in Texas. Like we
Yeah,
needed the
that's huge.
fans to help move that air. Um,
Mhm. And does it oscillate?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, those are nice.
But I
That's
think
a
the
good tip.
biggest thing is just really trying to stay organized and try and gather these things because before you know it, it's going to be time and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I got to get all this stuff.
And I don't know about your house, Kathy, but I know at our house, we've been talking about, like, making sure he saves money for that first year, because, you know, we pay for school, we pay for room and board, but we don't pay for the fun. So I don't supply beer money to the kids, none of them. So they all had jobs, they all have to have their own bank accounts, they have to start saving their money for their fun. I think, they're blessed that we're paying for school, and they have to have a dog in the fight. So for us, job, save your money,
Yeah.
get yourself geared up for that's one of the expectations. There's a whole list of expectations we do talk through, but that's one of their expectations, is to contribute their fun money.
Yeah. I mean, I would say Grayson ran through his money this year faster than last year.
Yeah.
So we've had to help out a little bit every now and then. But yeah, it's important that you have funds because
Yeah, you got to have money.
it's expensive to go
Yeah.
out. Those beers in college are expensive.
They're not nickel beers anymore. Like back in the
Well, it's also
day,
the mixed drinks are really expensive.
yeah. Like we used to go to like nickel beer night at the field house in Iowa City, which I don't even know if it's still there, but I mean, that was great, but I don't think they have
Yeah.
that anymore.
Yeah.
Not that we're
Tighten it.
promoting underage drinking.
Okay, so speaking of like getting our kids ready to go to college and kids have transitioning, next week we're going to have a guest come speak with us next week, and her name is Hannah Bankler, and she's founder of Birdie Launcher, and
Okay.
her business or support system is about transitioning motherhood into launching your kids off into the world. So I'm really excited to hear about her tips and tricks and things to help the mom support their kids as they go on to their next phase of their life. So I'm really looking forward to having her on.
That'll be fun.
That should be great.
All right, you all, what's for dinner?
So actually, I am doing this week's dinner. It's chicken tetrazzini, and it is very good. It's kind of like spaghetti and chicken, but it's like more rich dish, I guess, if I had to put a spin on it. But Nancy gave me the recipe and I made it. And we had it last night for dinner. It was delicious.
So this recipe actually comes from my mother-in-law, Judy. And way back in the day before you had like Google, you couldn't look up recipes. She had gone to a restaurant and she had chicken tetrazzini and she loved it so much that she wanted to make it herself. So she had to mess around in her kitchen to try to figure it out. And this is the recipe that she came up with.
Wow.
And she
That's
actually made this.
impressive.
Yeah, she actually made this recipe for me when I first brought Riley home from the hospital, and she
Aw.
put it in the freezer so we would have a meal when we had an infant in the house. So
I
it kind
love
of has
that.
like a warm place
Yeah.
in my heart. So I'm glad that you guys liked it.
Well, it's
Yeah,
good,
it's like
Judy.
a good comfort food.
Yeah.
Thanks, Judy.
Yeah, thank you, Judy. Well, we want to thank you for listening to our podcast and letting us sisters jump into your day. Please make sure to follow, rate, and review us. Please have a wonderful weekend. Sisters out.